Good news, everyone. WCR was going to sponsor the show. Bad news, someone's. There's another show. Welcome to episode 2 of If You're Washing with Mark, or The Deeds, or El Dudiness, or El Duderino, or El Deedsarino. Just not Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Thanks, WCR, for sponsoring the show over the next coming weeks. I'm going to make sure, the direction we're heading in, and I'll see what they can provide for us to get good content and cool shit out there. Some of the giveaways I'm going to be giving away is this Asako camera and this Asako camera. They both come with most of this bullshit. So if you want to clean windows with a pole and attach this bad boy to your head, or squeegee off some windows and fan it really nicely and use this camera to catch it dripping down cascading on those moisturized lubricated frames, just like R. Kelly in the dark. Never mind, we're not going to talk about R. Kelly and P. Diddy, but this week we're going to be giving away the Ettore Backflip. That's right, the Ettore Backflip sounds like the Ettore front flip, but it's not. It's the backflip. So instead of sitting here and flipping it like an idiot, I'm going to go ahead and just spin it 3 times and say, wow, this thing's great. You know what's really cool about it? This Aztek BOAB, which is short for bucket on a belt. This bad boy flips in here like this. Boom. Like that slap chop guy. You're gonna love my nuts. Okay. This bad boy goes in there. Can also come out somehow. Just gotta peel it. Peeling, wheeling, dealing, cat peeling. Got it out. That's great. Anyway, so back to the backflip. We're not gonna give that away this week. We're gonna give away this because it hasn't fallen on the floor. The Ettore backflip. This thing is versatile. It can take a tumble. Look at this. There's no dents, no rivets, no course. Look at it. You got a squeegee. You got a T-bar. Backflip. That's pretty much it. That's what you got. Got a thing that goes with a thing. So you can squeegee off. You can use one hand. You can use this bad boy that's not broken to capture all the drips and the flips. Oh, hey, muddle up there. Be very careful. Anyway, it clips together. We'll send out a different one. But this is a pretty cool tool because you can, clean and then like overtly press hard and you're scrubbing and dubbing, which this would cover excellent. So if you don't have an Aztek BOAB, I suggest you get one. They're lightweight, they're more affordable, than a Ninja or a silencer. These bad boys, you can left this bad boy right here. No, this is a great one. If you've got the money, honey, get one of those bad boys. But this is good for a starter. And if you're interested, you want one, comment below. I want a BOAB, not to be confused with Lisa Loab. She wants people to stay back in the 90s. It's a great song. Anyway, we're going to give that bad boy away. We're also going to talk about some rubbers. We're going to do a small dive on rubbers. It's now fall. It's no longer summer. So if you've got rubbers and you're in the South, keep using your hard rubbers. There's no reason to switch to medium or soft. It's 90 fucking degrees. If you're in the North, go ahead and switch to your soft because it's under 50 degrees. It seems like the hotter you are, the hotter you are, the harder you want it. So Houston never really gets below 70, maybe once or twice. So we might do some kind of a medium, but never really medium. We just keep hard in it all day. This shit is hot. We're gonna take this off. If you guys are interested in some sweet, juicy equipment, I'm gonna give all the giveaway stuff. It basically includes the wrist gear, the batteries, the whole fucking 67-page thing, including all these harnesses and crap. So if you want one, go ahead and just keep watching. We're going to be giving it away 1 week. Obviously, we'll say, hey, we're giving this cool shit away. Watch our show. And we'll get to that eventually, but we're still, am I going to do a show this weekend? Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it tonight. So anyway, couldn't do the show yesterday because I went up and picked up a Zero Pure for my friend's, my buddy Ken's wife. Picked that up last night, spent some time talking. I'm going to mount that or the Tucker 3-stage to the trailer. So we'll talk about that later, figure out what I'm doing there. Also in the show, briefly, we're going to touch on Final Fantasy football, not to be confused with Final Fantasy, the show with the big sword, 7, 15, whatever. Fantasy football, ESPN, foosball. I stopped watching football in 2016 when somebody was kneeling on the field and I ain't got time for this. I've got kids. I'm going to watch YouTube, Cocomelon, and Netflix, for the next 10 years. And I was right. That's all I do. That's all I watch is Netflix, YouTube, Cocomelon. There was Caillou for a while. That was fucking terrible. But now, a couple of years ago, I started watching football again. Joined the Squeegee Life Football Fantasy League. Did pretty bad the first year, second year, last year, got second place. This year I'm in the league. The last 2 years I had my man Josh Allen. Josh Allen, awesome quarterback, was my first round pick both times. Was laughed at last year by somebody. Oh, pick a first round quarterback. Wasting. You should have picked a receiver. Well, guess what? I was number 4 or 6 in line. Somebody picked Josh Allen as their first pick before I could get it, and it reminded me of the time that I spent money on a jersey. I spent money on a jersey from Matt Schaub, and the weekend I bought the jersey, he threw all those pick sixes, and then everyone started taking the jersey off, and he was fired. Luckily it was a knockoff $20 jersey, but it was the first like Nike product I ever purchased in my life, the first jersey I gave a shit about, and I had to kind of fucking lose it the first week because just my luck. I'm just glad I didn't spend $80 on this. So anyway, that's some pretty shitty luck. So I missed out on the Josh Allen thing. That sucks. So I was like, oh, who's the next best quarterback? Because I really didn't have a plan. I just wanted Josh Allen and the Bills, and I would watch the whole season and get over it, because Josh Allen's the man. Cool. So I picked Dak Prescott, fucking Cowboys, because he's the number 1 paid NFL player, which is pretty awesome. They announced it after the fact. But I realized after a quick, who do I pick? I picked him because of his stats and whatever. Come to find out he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. I was watching Josh Allen the last 2 years. Okay. That's not cool. All right. I'm not okay with that. The Cowboys fucking suck. All right. We know that. I know that. You know that. Cowboy fans know that. But I'm a Bills fan, so I know what sucking is all about. But now I have to watch Cowboy games. You know what it's like rooting for the Cowboys? Not many people do, and I'm not about to. So I got to either watch with blinders and just hope that he's worth every penny, and hope that Josh Allen doesn't go down in the 5th game against Houston, bringing in his backup quarterback to the front seat. So if you're smart, add him to your waiver wire, or not, because he's on my waiver wire. So Squeegee Life guys, don't do that. Anyway, so I've got Dak Prescott for fantasy. So it's going to be a miserable quarterback ride unless he, I trade him for somebody else or whatnot. So anybody else plays fantasy football, we'll touch on that here throughout the weeks, just because it's fun, it's exciting, it's something to do. I like talking about fantasy football just as much as I like playing football, and that's not very much. So we'll touch on some things. I'll give you some highlights on how the week's going, how terrible it is. We'll give some lockdowns of the century, Carl from Aqua Teen style, and just touch on that pretty much. Rooting for the Cowboys. Think about it. That's fucking tough. I mean, I had a choice to pick anybody, and I still do. I have somebody else on my team that's not him, but I feel like he's going to do okay. But the fact I've got to watch Cowboys, that sucks. So pray with me, pray for me, pray for him, pray for Josh Allen, pray for Jesus, pray to Jesus. God bless. All right, so we're also going to be talking about, I don't know, why don't we talk about the backflip? The backflip, again, a beautiful piece of equipment. It's Ettore. That's WCR's thing of the week, of the weekend at this time. If you're watching this in the future, that was then, this is now. Live in the future, which is tomorrow. But at this exact second was the past. It's always living in the past. So live in the now, and we'll talk about the fast lock too. Zero fast lock. All right, there's 2 kinds. You've got a pull adapter. You've got a brush adapter. Oh, click it. You got a pull adapter. Fast lock. What are those? So you've got a sturdy one that won't mess with your brush, and then you have a movable one, to help with the ease of moving on the glass. So you don't have to move so much, or the robots and try to get around it. I've been using it so far on my zero bores hair with the rinse brush action, but it's got some good action, good movements. I'm liking it. It's good. It also cleans up pretty well, and but can interlock eventually here. Sorry. I swear it's a great product. There. Had small hands, small fingers. Anyway, the snap lock deal is pretty cool, just because you don't have to sit there and you ever like twist that brush up, get it twisted all the way up, and then figure out that it's not even, it's off, like by this, and you're like, and you're worried that you're gonna snap through it and it's gonna pop out and break your entire bracket in the back. No, not with this thing. As long as you got big enough fingers to push that thing down, It's a breeze. It's a sneezy breeze, brought to you by Zero, the Zero Fast Lock. Get one or two. Because when you use it, you can put it on different brushes and you can jump around fast. I guess that's why they call it the Fast Lock. And if you've got tiny nubs always flying off the backswing, you can grab some tiny nubs that go on the bottom of your A-frame ladder. They sell these. If anybody else has tiny nubs flying off the bottom of the backswings and they need tiny nubs to get on the bottom of their ladders, comment below, tiny nubs flying off the backswings. I'll send you a free set of these bad boys, because safety first, safety is all that matters if you're washing. Then we'll give these dowels, these rivets, whatever these tiny things are here. We'll give those away. So comment below, you're gonna get that Ettore Backflip. I'm gonna keep these because I'm integrating all these brushes. I've got like 10 of those. Other than that, the Fast Lock's really nice. I suggest you use them. Check out the Zero boar's hair brush if you've got a lot of Tucker stuff, because this is more affordable. It's pretty decent, pretty great. It works well. It's not, you're not losing hair everywhere. It's not crazy. It hasn't broke on me yet, no issues. And I like the rinse bar. Rinse bar, everything works. Everything's good. I'm going to be updating all my interior size hoses to the larger one. So I've got like 300 feet of the wind-up hose that gets caught in everything. Well, I'm swapping that out to the larger hose, which is pretty popular now. You get more flow, more volume. And the rinsing is really all that matters, especially if you're doing solar panels or hydrophobic glass, or you're doing a lot of windows. The water is the power. The water is where it's at. Same thing with pressure washing. It's not the PSI that cleans the driveway. It is, but it's the volume of water you're using to expel the dirt and all the debris and the sand and the bullshit. Because if you allow that to dry up, you're left with lines and some BS still on there. It's still a dirty driveway if it hasn't flowed. So just like a window, you want high flow. So we'll be getting into that over the next couple of weeks, different episodes, but it's end of the deeds. Talk a little bit about myself and my business and all this shit going on. I've got everything organized tool-wise because I'm kind of OCD, but like ADD, if you can't tell. I like to know where my shit is, what it's doing, if I've lost it or if I've left it at a customer's house. I'm not going to see the red sponge. Sorry, not sponge. Cloth. It's hot. It's late. So if I miss one, leave it at a customer's house. I'll have to go find it and remember, but this also allows me to keep it off a tool bench, keeps it up. The way that I've got all the rubbers angled, they're not like gnarled down and cut into the hooks, because that would just tinge the rubber and just mess it up really bad. So I've got everything kind of organized well. And the 4 poles I've got up there are good stacked due to, I've used the high guy pole I picked up from my buddy Ken. He gave me a Zero Pro, so I'll be able to use that like solar panels. I might turn the Zero Pro into my Christmas light removal pole, because you've got to connect on the Christmas lights and yank them all down. And that's a great length for getting up and above dormers, all that fun stuff. But we'll get there. We'll get there later. Another stuff, the Techno pads. Techno pads are great for scrubbing. You get the walnut on there, you get the white scrubby. They do a good job. Take off lizard poop and all that. They're not going to take off the black pellets for window cleaning, but they're going to do a good enough job. Let's see, the rubbers. Like I said, it's still pretty hot in Houston. So if you're south of, say, South Carolina or North Carolina, continue using the hard rubbers for a while, unless it's cold. Let's see what else. If you want to talk about, we're going to discuss different things here throughout the weeks. I don't have guests this week, last week, so I've got to kind of pull ideas out of the air, things that I'm thinking about, and as I'm solidifying the channel, the show, what we're doing, how I want to give back, what kind of content I should be giving. Do you guys want to hear stories? Do you want me to just talk about equipment and say why, this 40-degree Unger Optilock or whatever is really nice, or Ergotech deal because the fast action, or what's the difference between a 2-clip and a 1-clip? I'm not going to go there. I did recover Ken's window cleaning stuff, and he had different, the brass, he had it all cut different, the 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I was like, oh, good job, Ken. Good guy. But he was a 1-clip guy. So he had that array channels and he only had the 1-clip, So I thought that was neat because I'm a 2-clip guy, just because got to make sure it's in there. Got to make sure, even though it can mess it up, but you can't perfect perfection, can you? So anyway, I've had his channels, his brass to it, so that's pretty neat. So I'm gonna take his brass and kind of cut it into the French panes that I need. You know, there's a ton of French panes here in Houston. I'd say 3 out of every 10 houses at least is the French panes at least in front of the house because it was least expensive to do the other 3 sides. So they're very hard to clean if you're not using the water for the pole and rinsing all the shit off. You've got to do, you know, heavy detailing, cut ups, all that to make it nice. So I've got already a pretty good selection of channel sizes and then some more below. But with his stuff, I'm going to use it and cut it up, you know, pretty minutely, precisely to fit certain windows and just keep them rolled up like chef's knives and kind of use that into my arsenal. Or, you know, once you get a serious collection of window cleaning supplies, the point is to take it as far as you can, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. That's what a lot of other guys do. Some guys buy, you know, I bought the classic black Unger stuff. I've bought some of the aluminum Ettore. You know, I like their stuff because it's really lightweight. It's like holding nothing compared with, you know, the Ergotech Ninja setup where it's like 3 pounds versus like the Ettore, it's like a balloon raising you up in the air. But yeah, so check those out. You know, the Mormon. I hated the Mormon flick pad because it would just break when you dropped it and stuff like that. So I will never use the channel for that or the flick. So obviously the handle is great because it's got the motion. So it's really good for cleaning big windows using a trap hole. It's very popular. Grab one. So if you're washing, you need one of those things as well. Some sponges. These are fun to work with. I'll use a sponge sometimes if you're in the back of the house at a customer's home and they're inside eating popcorn, watching Fox News or CNN. And you can go ahead and hit that big picture window with the sponge and give it the spongeness. And they're like, oh shit, look at that. I haven't seen a sponge in years. Honey, you still got that sponge from college? Yeah, and that kind of shit. And so it's just neat because it'll spark memories of his wife being a dirty, dirty tramp, or it'll make him smile because he hasn't seen a guy use a sponge ever in his whole life, let alone like the window cleaner. Like, that's what it's for? Fuck, I mean, had a sponge in my kitchen this whole time. Only my wife's used it, Eddie. But anyway, so there's just different tools in the arsenal. You know, some you need small razors to get small things off glass. You need small or larger triumph razors to get bigger shit off glass. You want to do a whole pane. I try to stay away from glass razors just because the confidence level. I know, and I've done it, but all I need is that one. And then even though a customer signs a glass waiver, we'll get into, there's still that awkward conversation of, hey, Lucy, you told me to do it. And then you have that weird 1-star Google review argument going on. She's throwing your shit out the front door. So I try not to err on scraping. Whoa. So I don't like to break glass, including this thing. So breaking glass is an insurance liability and costly expensive unless you've got a window guy that you work with who will replace a pane for $100, $200. It's probably a really good idea to go contact a window guy and say, hey, if I ever break a window or I got a customer begging for window replacement, can you hook me up 10%, 30%, whatever? And you can get a good emergency call. Because, you know, if you break a window and that lady is about to have a luncheon, you know, the next morning, you better get on the phone with the glass guy and he's going to charge you $800 to come out there in 2 hours. So if you've got a guy on the sideline who's ready to come in and help you, now you got to do is throw that ball and he'll help you out. So just get one, get a friend, get a mentor, get a little window guy, pop out of your pocket. Like, hey, Mickey, I'm going to fix your windows. I'm Mickey Window Cleaning, Installation, and Tinting. So Mickey will help you out, provide that service for your customer or not. I get a lot of customers who say, hey, you got a guy who does those seals? Can you do the seals in between the driveways? You know, the sealant? And I think to myself, you know what? I have a customer. No, I don't. Nope, can't help you, man. But it reminds me that I should have a concrete driveway seal guy because there's guys out there who do this on the side. They do screen replacement, that seal in the driveway, caulking type stuff, the sexy stuff, not the board that you just pound in there, the good caulking type deal. But anyway, so there are some services you can try to give to your customer that are provide or recommend, and there are some you don't. You know, like some guys when they first start out, they're a jack of all trades. You know, they're nailing boards back onto the fence, they're landscaping and mowing, they're painting, they're lubricating and fixing the sealants on commercial windows and shit like that. They just do everything they can to get business. And after a couple of months or a year or 2 or 3, they figure out that that's not where it's at. You know, they're racing to the bottom to try to do everything. So that's why specializing or sticking with one thing is important. Pressure washing, window cleaning, gutter cleaning, Christmas lights. Those are my trifecta, my quadruple deal. I want to be a triple threat. Windows, lights, fresh air, and then Christmas lights. Even the Hindus with the Diwalis, they do, 3 days of lights, but they want, why is it so much? You only have it up for 3 days. Hey, forget about it. So there's a target market you may want to like slide sideways because they're not very apt at pricing, but we'll get to them later in episode 17. I have a minor cold, so I keep sniffling and such. Like I said, it's a pain in the ass, so I might grab a tissue, do one of these every once in a while. I'm sure you can relate and understand. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's see. Trying to figure out stuff this week. All right. So talked about the tiny nubs flying off the backswing. Talk about the rubbers. Let's talk about the poo tag. Waha! Sorry. Large rubbers. All right. So this is some black diamond rubber. It's 36 inches. 38. It's a big bitch. But these are black diamond hard. So these are good because, well, some black diamond are good. Some are great. Some are terrible. This black diamond was fine. And it's good because it's hard and it sticks. You got to have more pressure on the glass. But if you have a soft rubber, it'll kind of skip over because it's soft, like putty. And if you're dealing with a hot window or hot water, hot whatever, soft will leave a lot of flexibility. With harder rubber, it's like more of a sturdy thing. It won't raise off the glass as much, and you'll be able to press and pull and remove the water. So you need hard rubbers in the summers. It's still summer for a lot of you guys, unless you northern window cleaners. Switch to soft. And order yourself some antifreeze because it's important when you clean your windows when it's 7 degrees outside. And meanwhile, Eddie Stewart, myself are sitting at like 79. We're sweating our dicks off, and you guys are complaining about flurries and sliding off the road sideways. That sucks. We have other issues here. It's hot. We have hurricanes, but we'll move on to another topic, starting with brushes and the fast lock. So with the fast lock, the cool thing about it is you can set up, for example, like your solar brush to have one of these bad boys. So if you're at a customer's house and they want you to hit the solar panels real quick, you're able to quickly jump off the fast lock, click into your solar panel deal, and you're all set. So it's definitely something to look into for guys who use their brushes a lot. And we'll jump back again for those guys in the fall, the gutter gizmo, zero gutter gizmo you can get on WCR. It's 15, 20 bucks. Buy 2 of them, throw them in your cart to round it up to 50 on your next purchase. But get 1 or 2 of these because they can spin onto the top of your pole, and you can pull shit to you on the gutters. So instead of like moving your gutter every 4 feet, 10 feet, you can pull that shit in your general direction and move less, which is the name of the game. Less gutter movements, less work on your back. It's not as bad. Just pull it towards you, but you don't want a heavy ass pole. You want a very lightweight aluminum, or get a zero trad pole, the 8 or 12 foot. I use the 12, but 6/8 does the trick. And that's really all that matters on that one. And it's funny because as I'm looking now over the camera towards my rig, I'm seeing that the trad pole I just told you about isn't here at the moment. So I think it's in the back of my truck. And it's going to bother me for the next 3 minutes, nay, 41 minutes, if I don't check to see if that pole's in the back of my truck, because I've got a customer I've got to call to go get it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're just going to leave it because I'm sure it's back there. And if it's not, that's fine. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to run through my head for the next while because I don't care. You know what? I'm a normal guy, just like everyone else, and I don't have anxiety thoughts. Nope, can't find it. But that's fine. It's completely normal. It's at a customer's house, in the bushes, in the yard. I don't know. I'll find it. But the important part is, if you're going to use a trad pole and not leave it at your customer's house, or if you do lose it at your customer's house, if you have 1 or 2 of these in the backseat of your truck, you don't have to worry about this. Now you just have to buy a trad pole or find it. Because she will get a text message in the morning. Hey, this is Mark. I'll be there before church to pick up the thing I left. Thanks. So that's important. Don't leave your shit behind. And we just talked about that. Don't leave your channels and shit laying on the ground. I left a Davis shooter tip on the ground at a customer this past week. And not this past week, I think it was July. But left it there and I thought I was out like $80 because it was a red anodized aluminum with 2 different tips on it. And so I was up shit's creek. But I texted the customer. He said, nope, can't find it. The next morning he sent me a picture of it. I had set it on his bush because I was changing out tips, something. Set it on the bush and luckily got it back the next day. So it was worth it. It was cool. So praying on that tread pool. We're hoping it's there. I'm sure it is. We'll talk. But yeah, so I want to thank WCR sponsoring the show. I want to give giveaway stuff away every week. Like I said, we're doing this Ettore Backflip today, and the Aztek, and maybe one of these bad boys, and the tiny nubs that are always flying off the backswing for your A-frame ladder tinies. Because if it's been 4 or 5 years and you use it regularly, check those nubs. They're probably dangerous. Order your some today off WCR. Call your rep. Get it. Get some, or comment tiny nubs flying off the backswing, and we'll try to get this pair out to you. It does come in a pair. You can't give one to one, one to another. It wouldn't be fair. You can't share. You gotta use them both for one ladder. So that's important. Let's share a funny story of the week of the past. Last couple months ago, I had a customer who did driveway cleaning, window cleaning, and a house wash for him because he was putting the house in the market. He's very excited. But he was also a very Indian guy. So when I sent the quote, he was very, I need a discount. What can you do? So I showed up, did a walk around with him again, because it was a high quote. It was the 3 whatevers that he wanted to knock down. And explained to him basically I wouldn't budge on the price because I noticed a couple of things at the dude's house, some red flags to look for. I give my customers 3 strikes. They get 1 if they're rude or snotty, like 2 if they're just, people, you can smell something, you give them a flag for that. They get a flag for being weird or being an asshole. Just kidding. They get flags for, telling you you're too expensive. And then you explain to them, well, I'm expensive because it costs money to run a business or operate this machine at this rate or this many hours or climb up in this ladder and clean out your dead cat from the gutter that it's been there for 3 years and stinks and there's fleas and fucking cockroaches. But this is the price. So as far as that guy, a couple of red flags. I noticed that he was persistent on like leaving some windows open while I was doing a house wash because he had a painter inside. So I had mentioned, dude, nobody's supposed to be on premises while I'm washing. Number 2, no, you're not leaving windows open while I'm spraying water on the house because after I clean the windows, I'm going to wash the house. I'm going to clean the windows and I'm going to clean traditionally them with a water fit pull. All these windows, I don't care. They got to be closed. He's got to go home for the day or I'll give you 1 window. That was my fault, right? I gave the 1 window in the back. So we left the 1 window with 1 screen. Did the estimate. He ended up approving it because I stood my ground and maybe getting like 5% off something. So getting the job done, doing a thorough inspection on the day of cleaning. We find one of the windows, 1, 2 or 3 of the windows by his front door had like silicone smeared all over it. And I always tell people, it's included in the estimates, this is basic window cleaning. There's no epoxy, there's no silicone, there's no concrete or mortar removal from the window. The tiny little black fungus artillery stuff will not be removed either because we don't, that's not included in this price. If you need silicone or anything special removed, we'll talk about it. So I brought that to his attention. Like, so what happened here? Like, I already washed the house, did the driveway, and I was cleaning up, actually cleaning the windows and around to the front because I do the trad in a circle and then clean to the front. So I get to the front, I brought it to his attention, like, what's all this? I can't clean this. I know you're telling me you're trying to sell the house next week, but it's going to be a little more for me to really rub that out and get rid of the silicone. What do you think? Oh, well, it's not that hard. He's saying, like, it's easy. So I explained to him, no, it's not. This is why it's not coming out, blah, blah, blah. I showed him. And then he told me, well, that was from my contractors. Like, what contractors? The guys who did the windows, they recaulked the windows and they smeared silicone all over the window. So I'm thinking, why would a contractor ever put silicone all over a window, like awkwardly and obviously? And my answer is because the guy was an asshole and he didn't pay. Now that guy, now that I mention it, was hawkish. He would follow me around and stuff like that, like his weird arms and just watch me work from a distance a couple times. And I've had to tell him, I think 3 times, you either go back into the house because I'm not getting an overspray or hit me with the hose or something like that, or we're done for the day. We're just leaving and we're calling it a day. So he got the message. So when I got him back out showing the silicone, he wasn't very happy that I had to remove it a certain way. He told me that story about the contractors. So back, anyway, the guy, he must not have paid the contractor. So the guy came back out and smeared crap all over it. So red flag number like 2 or 3 on this guy that I realized, oh, Hawkman was like number 2 or 3 already. But you're already 2 feet in the grave on this one, so you've got to kind of follow it through. As long as it's not terrible, he was fine. After I cleaned the windows, put the screens back in, I had to wait to put the screens back in because he was moving furniture in or some shit, and he needed the front of the house to have guys help. It was stupid, so I was very angry. After I was done with the job and I was ready to collect the check and get the hell out of there, he invited me to come inside and check this out. The point was, he had his whole beautiful flooring redone with white, fluffy carpeting, like expensive, nice white fluffy carpeting. And I'm in these nasty ass huck boots covered in mud from walking through the yard and rolling up hoses and putting screens away and all that. And so he's like, "Oh hey, mister, be careful. When you come in here, don't get my thing dirty. You see that stain and that stain? I had a painter come in here last week. He got it all dirty. And now I have another guy fix it. And he fucked it up. Now I have to hire another guy to fix that." And I'm like, holy shit. So I was like, listen, no, I'm not coming in your house. I'm not cleaning your inside windows, because if I get one drop of dirty water on this clean carpet, I'm gonna have you halfway up my ass, and I'm not dealing with it. So he kind of smiled because he knew, it sucked. I said, "You said you've got maids coming in 2 days. They do an okay job on windows. Just have them do an extra okay job. But I'm not setting foot in this house with clean socks, dirty socks, anything. I'm not even, no, not happening, bro. Not going in there." Red flag number like 7. So he did call me back a few days later after the maid says, "Are you sure you don't want to come in and give me an idea of what you think?" No, fuck no. I'm not going in that house. I'm not buying a guy a new rug. He said it was from Baltimore. Like, what do I care? I don't care that your rug is from Baltimore. It's your entire bottom floor of your house. How much fucking rug did you buy? I would be pissed too if I spent that much money on a Baltimore white rug. You don't even know Baltimore. He's never been to Baltimore. His mom's been. We're not going to go there. The point is if a customer starts throwing up red flags, like they want you to come into their house, and the other guy messed up the carpet and was kind of looking for a reason for you to mess up the carpet, so he would be able to use your insurance to recarpet the entire bottom floor from carpeting from Baltimore, which he's never been to, by the way. And 3, just focus. Focus on the customer, find out their needs, get them done. They start throwing out red flags, count them up, count them out, push them out if you can. If you're already halfway through a job or balls deep, you've got to finish it to a degree. I mean, if it's weird, creepy Hannibal Lecter vibes or whatever, deject from that situation, safety first. But if it's just weird nitpicking, you turn around and the old lady's staring at you from the driveway again, and you're like, "Oh, I kind of told you to go back inside." There's water spraying and ladders out and stuff. And, I was doing a gutter cleaning last week, and I was blowing leaves out of this lady's, off her roof, because there was a ton of leaves. And she was like slow and had the walker. And all I'm thinking is like, fuck. There was leaves scattered all over her walkway, because I was working, right? And you're blowing shit off onto the ground where it goes. So I'm like, "No." And she's like, "What? Don't go there. What?" And I'm, "Stop it." I almost like jumped off the roof on a 1-story roof to like to stop that lady from going any further, because she was like going like one step at a time, and she had the walker cane thing going on, and I knew she didn't have good footing, and she was about to walk into all that mucky, wet, shitty leaves, and I could just see like her life flashing before my eyes. Like, she would like slide up and the cane go up, and her hip, the artificial hip, flies up in there. I don't need that. She doesn't need that. Safety first. So that being said, I did tell the woman, "Don't come outside. Don't, when I'm working, it's a work area." But she wanted to check her mail because that's what she does at 3:55 or whatever the hell time it was. So luckily I was able to stop and yell at her, and she heard me and stopped and turned around and went back in the house. I got her mail for her. But that's just one of those things where, not necessarily a red flag, fire them, but you have to stand by what you tell the customer. If you tell them to stay inside because it's a rule or one of your liability deals, enforce it. Scream at that little old lady, "Stop!" Make sure they don't walk through a safety hazard area, slip and break a hip and hurt themselves. And Jesus, you don't want that. That's bad. But yeah, that's part of it. So that customer annoyed the shit out of me with that. So I'm pretty sure they're on the no-no list just because there's a couple other reasons. But when you ask somebody for, either for their own safety, stay in the house, don't walk outside with your cane at 1 mile an hour. And then the other thing too is she went back into the house to turn around. And by the time I was like done getting down the other side, I could hear her like muttering, "Oh, damn it." Like, because I had to work in that area. She had to get up off the chair and move in the house. Which brings me back to stay in the house. We won't have this awkward conversation with our old customers or any customers if you're in the house. My customer last week, I was cleaning a 2-story gutter and she was power washing her back pool deck. Like the pool deck right where I'm putting the ladder to do gutter cleaning. She's got an electric power washer and I'm like, it's fucking soaked. I'm putting my ladder here now, or in 5 minutes, or in 10 minutes. No, not smart. So I had to, hey, excuse me, can you do like the driveway? Can you clean the driveway first? Because I'm gonna not die and break my neck here while you're standing there. Thanks. So always communicate with the customer. I'm not an asshole. I mean, I sound like an asshole, but I'm nice to them because if you're an asshole, they won't like that. Give you a 1-star Google review. They'll tell their friends you're an asshole. And they don't hire assholes. So always be nice, polite to your customers, especially little old ladies who are walking with their cane out to get their mail. No, scream that politely. But always protect yourself, protect your customers because they're your greatest asset. You don't want them to fall on their asset because that's bad. That's not a good thing. And if they're pushing your buttons or breaking your rules, for example, pet peeve of mine for washing is when you tell them, for example, a house wash or you need the whole front of the house or driveway cleaning, please get the cars off the driveway. Also, please don't park in the front of the house. Park a couple, neighbors up, a couple neighbors back. It's fine. Just not across from your own house or in front of the goddamn house. And wouldn't you know it, even when you auto text remind the customer or email them beforehand, they will still magically have 3 cars parked in the driveway and 1 right in front of the house. They know that your driveway cleaning or their appointment for window cleaning, whatever it is for today, they know it was for 9 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock, but everything is still in the driveway. And it's like, come on, what the fuck? Is this your way of telling me that I'm too expensive, that you're mad, that you had to pay, that you're going to make me passive aggressively wait in my truck, listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival while you're in there finishing your scrambled eggs, getting your daughter's car keys and shit like that? I had one customer a few years ago that same type scenario, but it was Christmas lights. And this customer was one of my first Christmas light customers. And she had those icicle lights that come down. And so when I sent her the quote for lights, she got the quote for Mark's lights to install and take care of and all that. And she approved it. And when I showed up, she ended up giving me like 3 boxes of Amazon shitty icicle lights. She goes, here's 150 feet. You said 150 feet on your estimate. I'm sorry, I didn't say 150 feet on my estimate. Her husband told her it was like 140 feet end to end. So I grabbed the boxes and said, well, maybe, I came up with a number, installed it for her, and it was a pain in the ass. It was one of those things I'll never do again. Until the next year, she called me back and was like, hey, can you do it? I'm like, yeah, sure. Fuck. So I did it again. And when I showed up, her husband's Mazda Miata was in the driveway. And he had backed it up the driveway. And I don't know what happened, but she came outside because I had knocked on the door and like rang the doorbell like, this is Mark with Mr. Deeds. You requested today at 9 o'clock for me to do your gutters. And I noticed you have 3 cars in the driveway. Can you move the Miata and stuff? So anyway, she gets in the Miata. She's like, all right, thanks. And she puts it in, she didn't even start it. She just like put it in neutral. And the thing like rolled into the street, across the street, over the fucking curb, into the neighbors, and almost slammed into the neighbor's front door. It was like this far, 1.5 feet from stopping onto the front porch and like knocking out the porch divider and stuff. I'm sitting there like, holy shit, that's awesome. She's not drunk or anything, is she? Because it was early in the morning. It was 9 in the morning. I'm like, there's no way she's drunk, stoned, tripping or anything like that. She may, I don't think she had diabetes either. I think she was just forgot the key and was just doing women things, which is normal. That's fine. I'm not judging women drivers, but what I saw her do almost shit my pants. She immediately found the key, put it whatever, and like reversed it back and parked, and like nobody saw it happen but me. And I wasn't gonna say anything because she was my customer, and that's customer confidentiality. They expect and request that you're a good guy and you don't tell the neighbor why the ruts are in the front yard and all that fun stuff. But anyway, so I did her lights again. That was fun. But in that instance, she was parked in the driveway, almost crashed into her neighbor's house. So sometimes karma will work in your favor if your customer parks in the driveway, or where you don't want them to be, even though you've asked them to not park there. So to each his own. You can have that in your terms and conditions. You can put that in your reminder messages. I use Markate, which is an app for scheduling, invoicing, estimates, and they send out text reminders to customers like, hey, Mark will be out tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to clean your driveway. Please don't park in the driveway or in front of the house. Any questions? Call blah 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 blah. And then when I get there and they're there, I'm like, I got the text. I know they did. We talked about it in the estimate because I mentioned almost every time, mostly, that you need to move the car. Just have water accessible. That's all we really need. I don't need you to, have everything blown off or swept off because we handle all that. We clean it. You just need to move the stuff. I've in some of my terms, I talking about moving a 6-foot rabbit hatch, bunny type habitat. I had a customer who they had a patio cleaning, and so I was cleaning it and I went around it and stuff like that, and I'm spraying because I'm not moving it. It's like 400 pounds, huge. And she came out after the cleaning and was like, I really thought you were going to clean it and move it, and rinse it off at least. I was like, lady, it's a rabbit habitat. There's no rabbits in there. It's just hay and stuff. I'm like, I'm not spraying it down. I'm not moving it. I'm not lifting it. It's probably got infectious diseases in there. There's fucking rabbits. I don't know if you eat them or if they're rabid or, like the rabbits from the Holy Grail movie that will attack and bite your fucking head off. I don't know. So have that in your terms and conditions. We don't move barbecue pits that are heavy. We don't move slate dining room tables that are outside that weigh 2,000 pounds. I don't know why people buy those things. We also don't move rabbit hutches that are larger than 4 inches by 4 inches. If it's larger than that, it's got to be moved first, during, or after. We're not moving it. So in your terms and conditions, you can add stuff like that. We don't paint, we don't do windows, we don't dance, that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of your preference and what you do in business. So if you're washing, have that in your estimates, cover your butt, make sure the customer knows what they're getting and what you're not doing. So little thought there. I'm going to be working this week to install and move a trailer mount. Oh, not this one. A trailer mount to, what do you call it? There we go. We're going to mount my Zero Pure or my 3-stage Tucker to my trailer. So I'm either going to move that bad boy over here to, it's going to go right here. It's going to mount here, but I'm not sure if I want to put this guy on the trailer or put this guy on the trailer. I'm going to leave one of these guys off that I can roll up to a job and I won't have to have secured on the trailer at all times. But if it's on the trailer, I'll be able to offer window cleaning with every service that the trailer's on, because I didn't really have to roll everything up and bring it with me and kind of make it a fun thing here. So we're working on that. So I'll be installing that this week. I'll do some behind the scenes footage of how it's installed, the setup, the mounting brackets, the locks, all the fun nitty gritty, all the stuff that you would need if you want to mount it. I like using a IBC tote type deal because it has the grid-like structure. It has the ability to grab on to, or not to grab on, but you can attach things to it, mollies, you can zip tie things to it. I hang like hooks and then attach like pressure washing guns and stuff. I use a $250 extender for a water fed full thing that I slide my my wand in. The other one, I'll actually slide my zero pole. And as you heard me say about 5 minutes ago, my zero pole was not in the holder as I'm staring and looking at it. So I'm like, left my kid at home sleeping and I'm on a flight to New York City or Paris, France. It's like crazy. So don't leave your shit behind at a customer's job site. My bad. I'm gonna have to go fetch that, I guess. But anyway, if you're washing and you guys like tools, equipment and stuff, over the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna kind of get my bearings to filming stuff, getting everything situated to how things work. Because I'd love to put content, film parodies and funny shit like that, but if I don't know how to film it and edit it, it's a waste of my time. Because I'm kind of OCD. I want things to be perfect. I want it to be right. Because if not, then what's the point? But if I'm dead and I can't tell you the joke, then there's no point, because no one will tell you the joke, that kind of deal. So I'm going to be trying to do a lot more filming, a lot more stuff, and just see where it goes from there. I'm going to have a lot more time here in the future. I have a surgery scheduled for next couple weeks. It's supposed to be this week, but it's going to move to next week so I can do other things medical wise. So I'm going to be down for about 6 weeks. I'm not going to be able to lift more than 20 pounds. So I'm really going to be able to dive deep into this channel, setting everything up because I'm not going to be able to work, climbing ladders, cleaning windows, doing all that fun shit. So I'll be working on, if you're washing in entirety, I'll be doing a lot of estimates for Christmas lights, especially because that comes up in November. And something really cool is that I've had a customer, I did a job a few days ago, guy across the street, was riding his bike across the street and it stopped, flagged me down, called the truck. I went over to his house, did a walk around, and they need windows and a driveway cleaning. And they called to schedule it. They accepted it, after I sent it the next day. They called to schedule it. I had to tell them, I'm booked until the 17th when I'm having my surgery. I'm not gonna be able to clean for like 6 weeks. So I'm sorry. Do you need a recommendation for somebody? And the guy said, no, you're that guy. You're Mr. Deeds. We've been seeing you on our Facebook neighborhood pages. You do great work. We're willing to wait. Can you just put us on a schedule at the end of November, October, when you're feeling better? Just have us be one of your first customers. I'm like, holy shit, that was awesome. That was really nice. I'll clean your screens for you if you wait. Awesome. That's great. So the fact that people are out there that will support your business, if you have medical issues or if you're honest and open with them, I mean, they're human beings too. Spending $400 or $500 to clean windows or do whatever, depending on your mentality, that's a lot of money. Or like your time. Do you think your time is valuable? Do you think it's worth? Do you think people will wait for you? And I found out the other day that people are willing to wait 6-7 weeks to get out of the schedule just so they can get the Deeds difference. That's pretty awesome. So build a company that has that kind of reputation or that kind of service that you can stand behind and offer, that if you were to tell your customer, I can't even touch you for 7 weeks, I'm sorry, they're going to stay with you. And it's not like I offered to like lubricate their seals or their frames or anything like that, or condition or like moisturize or anything. I just was honest and told them, I'm gonna have surgery. I'm gonna be out until November. I'm sorry. And they were really cool with that. They told me why. And that's, and your thing, just be honest with your customers, tell them why, tell them what's going on. And it could work out in your favor. They'd be willing to wait for you if you're worth it. So just something to think about. So something else to touch on, things. I want to start like a book club, not really books, because a lot of guys like us, we don't read anymore. I ordered 14 James Bond books, Ian Fleming books, Dr. No, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice or Once, Casino Royale. Got a whole bunch of them this week, so I'm going to start working my way through those books because when I was younger, I read the first 2 or 3 of them, so I want to get back into it because it was a neat series. I tried 2 of the Jack Reacher novels. They're long as fuck. I don't have time for that. It's like trying to read Stephen King. I listen to Audible when I'm working, so I'll put a link below for Audible. If you've guys got a smartphone, if you've got Amazon Prime, you need Audible because you can listen to books while you're working. Some of the shit is free in your membership. It is $14, $16 a month. That sucks if you don't think you can afford that or don't think it's worth it. But you get a credit every month, and after 16, 25 months, you have 25 books to choose from. They have sales going on. Sometimes you can get 2 books for the price of 1, 3 for the price of 1, that kind of shit. But there's a lot of books on Audible that you should be reading and listening to. So, we'll touch on that throughout the weeks. Like, for example, Mike McCallett's Pumpkin Plan, Greg Cardone, he's got a lot of self-help books there for 10x in your life, and just all that woo stuff. I've listened. Ooh, another good one. There's your libraries have a free app on the phone. My Harris County's Libby app, so I can get in there and download and listen to music, Audible books, books on tape. So I listened to a couple of Stephen King ones. You might have to wait 16 weeks for delivery, but it's completely free. It saves you $16. So if you like libraries, set up an account. You can listen to Audible books for free. If you're willing to pay for it, go ahead and grab an Audible subscription. I'll put a link down. Might get a discount on low. I don't know how that works, but you can at least click it, download it on your phone, and then try to download it, get it set up, get some books going. We'll talk about some next week. something if if you're washing. I walk every morning. I wake up. I'm gonna wake up at the same 5:30 every morning. Use the bathroom, make the coffee. Use the bathroom, go for a walk. And on my walk, I listen to an Audible book, or I listen to music. Or lately, I've been doing YouTube. There's a poem I've listened to recently from Michael Caine, written by Rudyard Kipling. It's called If. It's not like the movie If, but it's based on Rudyard Kipling. He wrote the Jungle Book, but his son was sent off to World War, I think it was one, and it was kind of his fault for sending him. It's a long story, but he ended up dying in war. So Rudyard Kipling wrote the story If, or the poem If, which is touching and beautiful. And I'll leave a copy of that down below as read by Michael Caine, which is sweet in itself. But it'll be down there. I listen to that in the mornings. And there's been more than one morning where I've been walking like this crying because of the poem is so touching. So if you have anything going on in your life, or if you have a heart, or if you're not a sociopath, and that poem makes you cry, I apologize. But what you should do is wake up early one morning before the sunrise, pop in your earbuds, go for a walk, and turn on YouTube and listen to that poem. I've got YouTube Premium, so I don't have to listen to any commercials, which is great. No advertising, so it's 15 or whatever a month. But you can actually like shut the phone off and like listen to the video as you're walking or working, which is great for motivational speeches and all that shit. Because if you have regular YouTube that you don't pay for, turn off your screen and the whole thing stops. So YouTube Premium, it's cool. Guess I'll leave a link to that too, just to click on if you have an idea. But I just said it, so go search for it. It's on your phone. They want to sell it to you. Something fun to work with. So that's a good poem. I'm going to tell a story from my walk. I forgot about that. There was another Pennsylvania story. I stayed in Selins Grove, Pennsylvania, and across they had the Schenectady River going right next to it, so parallel. And north of it was a Shamokin Dam, and the road went like this, went up across Shamokin Dam and then back down to Pottsville, where I was heading. And so, sorry, I've got like a runny nose. All right, so I'm at this place in Selins Grove and getting ready for the morning, and I had my Google map out, and there was like a gray bridge that crossed. And fuck, I'm gonna cross this bridge and save, like, instead of going 13 miles, I'm gonna go like a mile and a half or 2 miles this way. It's super easy. So I'm in checking out of this motel and telling this lady my story. She goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going to Pottsville." So she goes, "Oh, that's a long way to Shamokin Dam. That's like 7 miles up and across and down." It's like, "Well, no, there's this bridge over here." She goes, "It's not a bridge, honey. That's a railroad track." Oh, well, it's a bridge, right? Well, no, it's a railroad bridge, sweetie. The guy that was next to her, drinking his coffee, was like, "Well, I'm a maintenance guy and I work for the railroad. You can't cross that railroad." I'm like, "Well, why not?" Because, "Well, it's an active railroad. It's like a mile and a half across. You'll get hit by a train." It's like, "Well, I'm pretty fucking stupid and I want to save a whole day's walk. I'm going to try it. I've seen Stand By Me. I know what to do. You got to run from the train." So anyway, so I grab myself a McGriddle and I start walking, following the Google map that tells me where this gray bridge on the Google Maps is. So I get there, lo and behold, it's a fucking bridge straight across to an island, and then it pivots this way and then goes that way. So I'm looking and squinting like, fuck, I can't even see the other side. So I'm looking like behind me, and there's the railroad track that leads back towards like town. And like off in the distance, I could barely see, I think I saw, but it looked like the fucking guy that I was talking to who worked for the railroad may have driven like out of town and stopped on the railroad with his truck, kind of like make sure that they weren't doing it. But could be an illusion, could have been nothing, could have been those crazy eyes I was looking at. But anyway, so I turned around and said, "Fuck it." So I'm sitting there, and if you ever crossed on railroad ties, not necessarily a bridge, but on a railroad track, there's like the tie is a nice beam, 10 inches by 10 inches, whatever, but it's every like 18 inches, like religiously, specifically, there's a certain distance every railroad tie. So long story short, is after the first 15 steps, you get a pretty good rhythm. You get to the rhythm of the night, the rain tracks through the morning light. So you walk and you get like a rhythm, you get a step to it. And so all I kept thinking is, all right, well, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it was cool because I was like getting on it. But then after you're like paying attention because you're fucking looking, making sure you're not going to die, and you can see the water rushing underneath you, and then you wonder like, well, it's 45 degrees or it's 38. the water's got to be warmer than that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I would die. So I like unsnapped my stuff just in case I fell, if I could at least like throw the bag off. And then also like every 75 feet or 75 steps or 100 steps, there was the railroad tie bridge, like the cement pylons that go into the river. So my plan is too, like if I hear a doot doot, I'm going, holy fuck, like stand by me and start running. But my thing is like I can jump onto like the concrete pillar and like huddle over in a huddled mess while the train goes. But I got halfway or a couple steps, more than that, and I stopped eating my McGriddle and I just threw it in the river because I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna slip because I'm concentrating on trying to eat breakfast. Might not even be able to finish breakfast if I don't pay attention. So I threw that fucking McGriddle and crossed the river. And that was fucking cool because I survived and I wasn't hit by a train. I didn't fall. I mean, I put myself in a lot of peril, a lot of danger because you shouldn't cross a bridge. It was like 1 mile, 1.5 from one end to like the middle. There was like a small island in the middle of the Shenandoah, whatever. So long story short, don't cross bridges at railroad tracks. It did save me a whole day's walking. Something funny that I laughed about and took a photo is like, either way, after I got finished with it, it was a funny naming. There was a street sign that made me laugh, so I took a picture. I can't say it here, but it was funny. There was a guy who lived on that road who owned a titty bar or a nightclub, and he had like women's breasts and his phone number and like a website on it. And I laughed, took a picture of that too because he lived on that funny named street, and I had just crossed over this crazy ass bridge with water going underneath it. And it's funny because like 15 minutes later, as I'm walking down the road, I heard like a semi or a train hit the horn from far away, and I'm like, oh shit, that was 15 minutes ago. It took me 30 minutes to get across that thing just because I had to do the lockstep. And yeah, it was crazy. So, there's that. If you want to do crazy shit in life, you can do that. Walking across America or crossing a railroad bridge or, hanging off a ladder to reach that one piece of ledge or whatever. You got to get something off. Don't take risks. I'm 30 or 40 years old now. And so we're all getting older. We don't want to do dumb shit. I don't think I would cross a railroad track again, although I'm pretty stupid. I don't suggest doing that or other stupid shit to other people. So that's why buying the right tools can help you succeed. Unless, of course, you leave your trad pole at your customer's house and her son, Derek, sold it for crack and you'll never see it again. Well, Derek, thanks. I hope you enjoy that crack. It's gone by now. Thanks. But regardless, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of If You're Washing, episode 2, Out of the Deeds. I'm Mark. That was fun. Thanks for tuning in. Hoping I hit the hour mark. I'm not really going. Don't want to get too winded and tired because I OCD'd about certain things to get it right for this video, to make sure to get right and whatever. So over the next couple of weeks, it'll be more streamlined, a little easier. I'll have better segments. It'll get cool. But I want to thank you for sticking it out for an entire, however many minutes long. This is tens of minutes. I appreciate your support. We're going to cover more tools, topics, news. We're starting going to roll that stuff out once we can start getting comfortable and figure out if you're washing and how this stuff is working. But again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's go Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's depressing. I got to watch a fucking Cowboys game tomorrow. Hope you guys don't have to do that. People like the Cowboys still? I'm a Bills fan. So I'm used to losing like 4 Super Bowls in a row. That's fine. But Dak Prescott, come on, throw it. And I hope Josh Allen doesn't go down in the 5th against Houston. But I'm calling it. So if you guys in the legal states can place bookies, tell them. Put $5 down. Josh Allen down against Houston. It's like 20-1. You get $100. I want some of that. But not really. But yeah, let's give me some chicken wings. Give me like a Buffalo Wild Wings card. Josh Allen goes down, 5th game, Houston. I'm just saying. You wish you had Dak Prescott, but you don't. No, Dak Prescott's terrible. But he might be great. We'll find out. If you're watching, thanks for watching. Go foosball.
They're gonna bite you. They're gonna bite them. I wanna see it.
They bite me, you're gonna be screaming.
Daddy, we're gonna